night. We'll see. Hopefully we didn't overpay for him, but we probably did. But the thing is, at least like that OU is playing the NIL game, and I really do think us losing Caden Green is really what made Oklahoma open up their eyes and we're like, okay, we got to open up our pockets a little bit more than we'd like to and play the game with all these other schools, especially if we want to stay relevant and at the top of college football. Now that the playoff is expanded too, like there's more chance than ever to compete for a national title. If you're in that top 12, you got a shot. So,
well, yeah, and to your point there at the end, I think everybody, the beauty to NIL, what I really like about it is everybody's always a player away or, another portal opening window, if you will, away from changing their program. The only thing I'd say to the OU side that I would ask is I think that even if you didn't land Dominic Williams, which I think it was a great landing, and I don't think it came down to solely money. I think money, NIL played a big factor.
Definitely NFL development. You have like Todd Bates. And
I was going to say Todd Bates is a great recruiter. Mm-hmm. So he obviously did a great job recruiting him. They visited LSU last, so Bo Davis got to him. Texas with Kenny Baker, but he's very new coming from the NFL, so we'll see. And that's not what I'm getting into. But I would say is I think Oklahoma would have been fine without him at defensive tackle. I think defensively they're good. Mm-hmm. Would you have rather saved that type of NIL money for another weapon if one enters the portal? Or is it at the point really where it's like this is post-spring portal. You can't get SEC to SEC transfers that can impact the season this year. Just go get another guy and try to be loaded defensively and just be defensive-centric and let your offense come along with first-year starter at quarterback and whatnot.
Yeah, I really like, especially in the spring game, I like how the offensive line looked, especially going against, like you said, a very loaded defense. I think with the addition of Dominic, is it Dominic or Dominic?
I don't know the punctuation.
Dominic Williams, sorry.
Dominic would be crazy.
Yeah. Well, somebody was saying, I was listening to some Oklahoma insiders.
Well, no, in Oklahoma, that's right up Bill's alley. But
I like the addition of him because now we have 7 key interior pieces that we can rotate in and out. And obviously in the SEC, it is a line of scrimmage league. Like that's where the games are won.
Big humans.
Exactly. So you need that, right? I think I would like we got a couple offensive linemen in the portal as well. I would like for us to get another tackle or guard.
Depth-wise or a starter?
Just depth-wise. I think you just kind of need another maybe top-end, high-level starter potential guy to kind of push some of the people in that room. I think Bill will get it together. He's proven to do that. I don't really have any doubts in that. I just want them to be able to, have that depth there, especially in the SEC. Injuries could happen, things like that. And as soon as you lose somebody like that within the SEC with a young quarterback, that can, prevent the run game from getting developed, which I think we have good running backs as well. We have Taylor Tatum coming in that hasn't been on campus as well. And we have really good receivers and weapons.
Yeah.
Now, he's just a young kid, quarterback. So he's going to have growing pains. He's going to have a game where he might light up Tennessee for 400, and then he might go to Auburn and throw 2 interceptions and throw for 230.
Yeah, just the ups and downs of being a first-year starter, not just a redshirt freshman, but just a first-year starter. It doesn't matter when you go in there, and he's got a hellacious schedule. So, obviously, anytime you got a first-year starter at quarterback, whether he's a freshman, whether he's a junior, there's growing pains, and there's going to be growing pains. Oklahoma has a stretch from September 28th through November 30th. That goes Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Maine, Missouri, which has become a little bit of I wouldn't say rival, but y'all are at each other's throats for the last few years, recruiting-wise.
They're like a thorn.
Fan base-wise.
Yeah,
the fan bases are...
They're like Aggie.
You'll have had a tiff, if you will.
They're like Aggie, but like not a true rival, I'd say.
And then finished with Bama and then LSU in Death Valley last game of the year.
Yeah.
So that's, first-year starters, one thing. Going through that, staying healthy through that brutal stretch. Y'all's first year, just like Texas, there's going to be every game somebody's going to try to get their piece. You know what I mean? Get off on us. Pause. But you're going to have everybody's best shot, just like Texas does.
Yeah.
Vice versa, these teams will as well. But that first year, and Texas will have it as well. The SEC being what it was already considered a super conference. It's legitimately a super conference now.
Yeah.
Adding 2 blue blood programs on an upward trajectory. Do you feel disrespected with the 7.5 win total?
Yeah, 100%. I think when you look at how much production is returning on defense, and then you look at what Brent does in year 3 with his defenses and actually having the defense built the way he wants. He has versatile pieces in the secondary, and in the front seven. So he's able to run multiple fronts. And I think getting a really young and striving defensive coordinator like Zach Alley, who is from the Brent Venables tree, learned from him at Clemson, and obviously, his incorporations of 3-3-5 when he was at Jacksonville State and running, high level defenses. I think when you get Brent more in a CEO role, and also think when you bring in a offensive coordinator like Seth Littrell and Joe John Finley, they're co-OCs right now, but you have Seth Littrell, who is proven at Indiana, was proven at North Carolina, was proven at North Texas as a play caller. He comes from like the Leach tree, the air raid, but he also is a former head coach. He understands controlling the game, running the ball. Okay, we just got to stop. We need to go score, but let's not go 3 and out like Jeff Lebby did.
Right.
In 30
I hate
seconds.
Jeff Lebby.
You know what I'm saying? Like with him, it's like you either go 3 and out in 30 seconds or you score in 40 seconds. It's like there was no in between when there was no game control. And in the SEC, I don't really care about pinning 60 points on people. I care about winning games. If that's 30-7, fine. You got a good defense. You got to play to the strengths of your defense. So I think the 7.5 number is a little low. I would definitely have us more at like that 8.5 or 9 mark, especially with the freshman quarterback. But obviously with the defense, I think the losable games are clearly Texas. Obviously that game's a coin flip every year. And then you have Ole Miss, who could be losable. It's on the road. Missouri is losable. And then you have like LSU, Bama.
Auburn on the road.
Auburn on the road too, because it's the first true SEC game. So it's like, how would that team fare? But usually Oklahoma responds in those type of environments, especially early on in the year. And I just think Auburn, from a talent perspective, isn't there yet with Oklahoma. They're talented. They're very young, but I think they just don't have the depth and the quality pieces at key positions that would
championship depth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
and I think that's probably. I don't think it has anything to do with the defense. Obviously, I think it's a combination of the offensive changes that you mentioned, first-year starter at quarterback, and the brutal road games that you included. That to where it's 7.5. I could see it going up to 8. It'll definitely change before kickoff. It
was
do.
at 6.5 before.
Yeah, it could go up again with adding some players, and it just in general could go up. Depending on what a bunch of people are coming in over that or whatever. But the biggest thing that stands out to me with OU is the schedule more than anything.
The schedule is brutal, and some things that I like to see from the Oklahoma perspective as in quarterback. Just some key points I'm going to touch on real quick. Jackson Arnold and Malik Hawkins Jr. both look really capable. Hawkins is a very young, true freshman, but I think he will probably be the second string. If not, Casey Thompson will be, depending on his injury history and whatnot.
It's time for Casey Thompson to get a real fucking job.
But, Oklahoma brought him in, and I think them bringing him in is more so just to add that leadership perspective, to add somebody that's a veteran, literally. Like
He's a veteran.
8 years in college to your locker room to, maybe help prepare Jackson or help kind of show him like the ins and outs of playing college football at a high level, right?
Right.
I think Jackson looks good, very efficient with the football. Still holding on to the ball a little bit too long for my liking, but that is going to continue to come with time.
Yeah.
But I think they have a ton of weapons, especially at wide receiver. You have Nick Anderson, Deion Burks, that kid looks like he's gonna be a stud in the slot. He looks like he's gonna fill Drake Stoops' void, but he's actually like super athletic. Yeah, just better, super athletic, explosive. And then you're gonna have Jaden Gibson, who I've been a fan of that kid forever. Just got to get the guy touches. 6'5", runs a 4.4. Like you can't not put that on the field, right? And you're gonna have Farouk, and you're also gonna have Andrew Anthony coming off his knee injury, depending on how he is, and a bunch of young guys.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Angel's I think could be the best one.
He had like 500 yards going into the Red River until he tore his knee. So was an extremely productive guy. The tight end room is looking good. You got Bauer Sharp, and we're actually going to third our tight ends. Jeff Lebby didn't even know what a tight end was apparently the last couple of seasons. So
that's not to just speak on Lebby too much, but yeah, that was the biggest in offense like that.